Today we're resawing some rough cut lumber for the Akas, and you'll be surprised how many times we handle these same pieces of wood before it gets down to the shape and the size that we can use for making the Akas themselves. We've used the table saw, and now we're going to the point where we're bringing in the planer after we've cut the two-inch thick boards in half to get them down to a 1 inch. Actually, they're 2 1/8 inch, but we're getting them down to 1 inch, planing them smooth. And you didn't see where we actually trimmed them on the edges one time too with the table saw, but we run them through several times to get them down to the appropriate thickness. Okay, everything's the proper thickness. Now we put up the planer and we get out the router table so we can round over the edges of each plank. Now, there's only 6 planks here for construction of the Akas, but you get to do them several times. Naturally, after the edges are rounded over, we need to do some sanding. So you never get enough sanding when you're building a boat. Okay, we're working on the webbing of the crossbeams, Akas, or whatever you want to call it now. All the other pieces of wood over here on the left are the tops of the I-beams for the crossbeams.
Tops and bottoms.
Tops and bottoms. And if you notice through the fast forward stuff that we did, you touch one piece of wood several times. We originally bought these, and they were 2 1/8 inch thick, rough cut cypress. And we thought about having the lumberyard mill them down, but we said, nah, we'll do it. But and they were 16 foot long, and we cut them down to about 14 to begin with, but that was still, for the two of us to muscle them around, it was pretty heavy. So it does work better. We have rollers that we were going to use. We decided not to. The little tables that we've got here, they're handy for in and out feed of the table saw. They're handy for the router, the planer. And we've got different lengths of 2x4 legs. They're not real sturdy, but they serve the purpose, let's put it that way. Yep, we always mix our epoxy for 2 minutes. Only 1 pump of the resin, half a pump of the hardener at this point. Go ahead and do that one there.
This one or this?
Yeah, that, both of them. We did mark the shape of this and centered it. Pre-drilled the holes for the silicon bronze nails that we're putting in, ring shank nails to hold it together too, per the plans. And then we're also going to put we pre-wet it to make sure that the epoxy soaks into the wood, and then we add thickener and do another coat. And if this soaks in like I think it's going to right now, we may do another coat of just straight epoxy too. I know we will on the end grain.
What are you going to thicken it with?
Cellophane, like we always do. Trying to get the end grain where these two go together pretty good, so hopefully it'll stick to itself, but we'll add some filler too, so I'm sure it'll stick. Okay, we've thickened the epoxy. We use cellophil.
Do that, would you?
Nope. Here. We have a wood floor in the shop. It's not very sturdy. Okay, clean up the squeeze out. And this is where we nailed and glued the butt block. Okay. 1 foot there. You got that marked already, right? Yeah. Double checking the work. Right. We're marking all the compression blocks on the webbing for the crossbeam here. 2 foot 8, right? I didn't do that down here, right? Yeah, I did.
Scratch 2 foot 8. Or you wrote 2 foot 8.
I wrote 2 foot 8.
Well, maybe I'm wrong. Let's see. Let's try this again. 3 foot.
3 foot.
No, 3 foot 2.
3 foot 2. Okay, so 4 foot. I mean 4 foot back from 3 foot
4
2.
foot.
Inches. We'll go with inches. So let's do 10. 210. Double check that. The center.
How you want it?
Beautiful.
Wait a minute.
Is that 210? That's the mark. It's not 8.5. It's 2 foot 2. 3 foot. No, it's not. That's cause, 2 foot 10 is there. Okay, you got the mark on there already. It's always a good plan that when the confusion sets in like it is right now, walk away from the boat. From that one, 3 foot.
You sure that's 3 foot?
Yeah, well, no. Okay, what, 4.5?
4 foot 6.
3 inches. Now we gotta go back and double check this because I'm sure it's wrong. Wrong.
You'll mark this while I'm here?
Go ahead.
You got the pen.
Oh. Well, you want the pen back? Here, let me help. 3 inches.
Mm-hmm. That's 3 foot 2. Is that what that says?
That's what that says.
4 inches back.
It's 2 foot 10, right?
Mm-hmm.
How come it says 2 foot 8? Because it's wrong. That's why. Scratch that out. But it's the right thing. There you go.
Okay.
Just for some added strength, we're going to glass the top and the bottoms of these beams before we attach them to the web. I didn't want to listen to the sound of the electric scissors again, so I cut that part out. Of course, you can't hear the roller rolling when I get to glassing them down either, but you know, you're lost. And we're cutting the compression blocks for the pieces of the web that we were measuring just a little bit ago. And epoxying the compression blocks to the webbing of the ACAs. And this is only one side of the web. We'll turn it over and do the other side tomorrow after we get everything placed. Cleaned up the edge of the boards we fiberglassed with the router and found out that it does get itchy. Well, we got the webbing for the crossbeams, the ACAs, I-beams, whatever you want to call them. We got those glued up today. And we got to put another coat of epoxy or two on it. And we'll be putting starting with the top part of the crossbeam, ACA, I-beam on top of it tomorrow.